My sister stood up at our 25th wedding anniversary party. She raised her champagne glass, and she delivered the most beautiful toast about love, loyalty, and the importance of family. The whole room was in tears. My husband was beaming. I was so moved that I didn't even notice when my 8-year-old son accidentally grabbed the wrong phone from the gift table and handed it to me instead of mine. But when that screen lit up, I saw something that made my blood run cold. A text, thread that revealed my sister had been living a double life for the past 3 years. And the person she'd been texting? My husband. I'm Rebecca, and I'm 47 years old. For most of my life, I thought I had the perfect family, a loving husband who worked as a contractor, a successful marriage that everyone admired, and a sister who was my absolute best friend. We did everything together. We went on double dates. We took family vacations. And when she got divorced 5 years ago, I was the one who helped her get back on her feet. If you've ever trusted someone completely only to discover they were betraying you behind your back, hit that subscribe button right now and tell me where you're watching from. I read every single comment because I know exactly how that shattering feeling of betrayal can tear your world apart in seconds. The anniversary party was supposed to be perfect. My husband David and I had been planning it for months. 25 years of marriage deserved a real celebration. So we rented out the community center. We invited all our friends and family. And we even hired a DJ. The room was decorated with photos from our wedding day, family vacations, and all the milestones we'd shared over the years. My sister Lauren had insisted on helping with everything. She coordinated with the caterer, she picked up the flowers, and she even offered to handle the music playlist. I should have been grateful. Instead, I should have been suspicious. But when someone you love offers to help, you don't question their motives. You just feel lucky to have them in your life. The party was everything we'd dreamed of. David looked handsome in his navy suit, the same color he'd worn to our wedding. Our son Jake was running around with his cousins, all dressed up and excited to be part of the celebration. Friends we hadn't seen in years had driven hours just to be there with us. Lauren arrived fashionably late. She was wearing a stunning, red dress that probably cost more than I spent on groceries in a month. She'd always been the prettier sister, the one who turned heads when she walked into a room. Even at 45, she looked like she could be in her 30s. Perfect hair, perfect makeup, perfect figure. I'd always admired her confidence, never realizing she'd been using it as a weapon. The dinner was amazing. The speeches were touching. David's best man talked about how we were the couple everyone looked up to, the proof that true love really existed. My maid of honor shared stories about our college days, and how she always knew David was the one because of the way he looked at me. Then Lauren asked for the microphone. I want to say something about my sister and brother-in-law, she announced. She was standing up with her champagne glass catching the light. The whole room went quiet, all eyes on her. Rebecca and David, you two have shown all of us what real marriage looks like. 25 years of standing by each other through everything life has thrown at you. David, you're not just Rebecca's husband. You're the most loyal, dedicated man I've ever known. And Rebecca, you're not just my sister. You're my inspiration. Paused, and I swear I saw tears in her eyes. Some people go their whole lives never finding what you two have found. The kind of love that doesn't fade, that doesn't waver, that doesn't break even when tested. You've built something beautiful together, and I'm so honored to be part of your family. The room erupted in applause. People were dabbing their eyes with napkins. David reached over and squeezed my hand. I felt so loved. So blessed to have such an amazing sister who could articulate everything I felt about my marriage so perfectly. To Rebecca and David, Lauren raised her glass higher. May you have 25 more years of the happiness you deserve. Everyone stood up, glasses raised, toasting us while Lauren beamed with that perfect smile of hers. If I had known what was really going through her mind at that moment, I would have thrown my champagne right in her face. After the toast, things got more relaxed. The DJ started playing music from our wedding, and couples filled the dance floor. Jake was getting tired, so he'd claimed a quiet corner. He was playing games on phones that guests had left on the gift table while they danced. That's when it happened. The moment that changed everything. Jake came running over to me, holding what I assumed was my phone. "Mom, your phone was making noises," he said, handing it to me. "I think you got a bunch of messages." I took it without really looking. My attention was still on the party. But when the screen lit up, I realized immediately that this wasn't my phone. The wallpaper was different. The case was different. And the name at the top of the screen made my heart stop. It was Lauren's phone. I should have walked over and given it back to her immediately. That would have been the right thing to do. The sisterly thing to do. But something made me hesitate. Maybe it was the way she'd been so helpful with the party planning. Maybe it was the nagging feeling I'd been having for months that something was off in my marriage. Maybe it was just intuition. The screen was showing a text conversation, and I could see David's name at the top of the thread. My hands started shaking. Why would my sister be texting my husband? And why would she have his contact saved under just David instead of David, Rebecca's husband, or something that would distinguish him from any other David she might know? I looked across the room. Lauren was on the dance floor, laughing as she danced with my uncle. David was at the bar, getting another drink and talking to his co-workers. Neither of them had noticed that I was holding Lauren's phone, reading messages that made my 25-year marriage feel like a complete lie. The first message I saw was from earlier that evening, sent right before Lauren had given her beautiful toast, about to give the speech. This feels so wrong. David's response: "Just get through tonight. Tomorrow we can talk about telling her." I scrolled up with trembling fingers, my heart pounding so hard I could feel it in my ears. What I found was a conversation that had been going on for months. Intimate messages, planning secret meetings, discussing how to handle quote-unquote the Rebecca situation. My sister and my husband had been having an affair, not just a physical affair, but an emotional one that ran so deep they were making plans for a future together. A future that didn't include me. I kept reading, even though every word felt like a knife to my chest. Messages about how they'd fallen in love. How David had been unhappy in our marriage for years. How Lauren had been the one to make him feel alive again. There were messages about my anniversary party. They'd been planning to use tonight as cover. To act normal, while they figured out the best way to blow up my life. David. She deserves better than this. She deserves the truth. Lauren. I know, but not tonight. Let her have this one perfect night and then we'll figure out how to do this. Right, David. I hate lying to her face, especially when she's so happy. Lauren. It won't be much longer. After tonight, we can start planning how to tell her. I felt sick. Physically. Violently sick. These two people I loved more than anyone in the eye. World had been plotting behind my back, using my anniversary party as some kind of twisted farewell celebration. But the worst part wasn't the affair itself. The worst part was the messages about me. Lauren. Sometimes I wonder if she even notices that you're not happy. She's so wrapped up in her own little world. David. She's a good person. She doesn't deserve this. But I can't keep pretending anymore. Lauren. You've been pretending for years. We both have. Maybe it's time we stopped. I kept scrolling, finding messages that went back 3 years. 3 years of secret meetings, shared jokes, intimate conversations while I was working late or taking care of Jake, or doing all the things wives do to keep families running. They'd been meeting at her apartment every Tuesday when I thought David was working late on a construction project across town. They'd been texting constantly, building a relationship that was deeper and more connected than anything I'd shared with either of them in years. The messages showed a side of my husband I didn't even recognize. He was funny, romantic, attentive in ways he hadn't been with me in so long I'd forgotten he was capable of it. And Lauren was encouraging him, telling him he deserved someone who appreciated him, someone who understood him the way she did. Reading. Their conversations was like watching my marriage die in real time. Every sweet message they'd exchanged was evidence that what David and I had built over 25 years had been crumbling while I was too busy living my life to notice. But then I found the messages from earlier that week. The ones about tonight's party. Lauren, are you sure you want to go through with this celebration? It feels like torture. David, we have to. Canceling would raise too many questions. And maybe she deserves one last happy memory before everything falls apart. Lauren, you're a better person than I am. I just want to get this over with. David, after the party, we'll tell her together. We owe her that much. Lauren, together. I think that's the right way. They were planning to tell me. Tomo,